Coming to you from high above the Romano Gymnasium here at Tewksbury Memorial High School, alongside Cullen Mullen. I'm Andrew Delapiano. Welcome into the second semifinal of the boys division between Chelmsford and Tewksbury in an MVC rivalry renewed. We got game 2 of our doubleheader after Tewksbury girls fell in our first matchup of today's game, falling to Bedford in that one 50-46. But Cullen, we got a great one between two MVC teams here tonight.
Yes, we do. Two very talented teams, two pretty evenly keeled teams as well. Looking forward to this one.
Tewksbury coming in with a 1-2 record, picking up that first victory of the season after a 14-point victory on Friday over the Hillies of Haverhill. While Chelmsford, that loss on Friday against Traken, dropped them back to 1-2. For the Redmen here in this 6th annual Romano tournament, looking to defend that title they won just last year. Andrew Murray and Mason Veets to tip it off, and we are underway from the Romano with Chelmsford getting the first possession. It'll start with a ball handler in their all-MVC player last year, Dylan Torini. You're going to hear his name a lot tonight. And look for number 0, Jaden Maxey, to try to play spoiler in the Redmen man-to-man defense. Torini trying to start things off. He's short on the 3, but at the offensive rebound goes to Shane Kagetny. Inside pass for Torini, no good. But the offensive board right there, Andrew Murray, and the Lions are on the board first. Chelmsford gets the scoring started 30 seconds in, and an early turnover on the offensive end, as that was Gabe Kaniskidius on the turnover. His left foot just out of bounds.
Big key for the Redmen tonight. It's going to be eliminating those turnovers, eliminating those mental mistakes. Hopefully the Redmen can do that tonight, take advantage of Chelmsford capitalizing on those mental mistakes.
Andrew Murray, who had the first 2 points of the ball game, swings it around. Open 3 for the senior Jake Brooks. Just rims out. The offensive rebound, though. Chelmsford's there again. Lewis Kabuka makes it 4-0 Chelmsford just 60 seconds in. Kakinidis, no good on the mid-range. And 1 and done for the Redmen to start the ball game. Veets forcing a steal on the other end. Here comes Johnny Sullivan with a full head of steam. Sullivan inside feed for Veets and an easy 2. Nice dish. Timeout Tewksbury. Chelmsford in front 4-2 with 1:20 gone in the first quarter. Nice pass from Johnny Sullivan to get the party started.
That's a great play there by Sullivan, coming off the ACL injury. Good to see him getting active off the bat here.
And you mentioned that torn ACL. He had it back in the fall season of football last year, was unable to play last winter. And when you have a guy that was second team all-conference as a freshman, to not have him as a year of growth as a sophomore, he looks right where he picked off, though, here as a junior.
Obviously, he had a great freshman season. Terrible to see him get hurt there in the last football game of the year, but good to see him back. Hopefully better than ever here tonight.
Both teams trying to feel-out process in this first minute or so. We saw Gabe Keskanistis take a couple of jump shots, didn't really fall. Chelmsford, those 2 offensive rebounds, though, leading to some early points. Yeah,
hopefully Tewksbury can capitalize, be a little bit better rebounding here. That's one area of the game that they're really struggling with so far, 1:20 in.
Again, alongside Cullen Mangan, Andrew Delapiano with you on Tewksbury TV. Second semifinal of the boys division. The winner will play Friday night against Burlington, while the loser will take on Bedford in the consolation game. Fresh out of the timeout, Chelmsford having a little trouble in the backcourt, but they escape after some butterfingers from Shane Kageta. Lions with the basketball, 20 seconds to shoot, and they'll find the hands of Kangete. And he's called for the travel. Lewis Kabuka took that extra step in the paint. And it's a Chelmsford turnover. Keskanidis one-on-one with Kangete. Corner 3 for Lombardi. It's back iron and out. Ball popped up. It's a battle for it. Finds the hands of Andrew Murray for the Lions. Here's Jake Brooks coming off a screen. Free throw line jumper. Short. Rebound finds the hands of Kangete. And the Lions will reset with a fresh 35. Kangete one-on-one with Lombardi. Goes up with the left feet. He got a piece of it. Veets keeps it in. The Redmen force a steal. Here come the Redmen in transition. Finger layup, no good. These two teams, Colin, running it quick and early. Brooks with the head fake. He'll kick it out, but the offensive foul. Sullivan got his body right in the paint there. And another turnover for Chelmsford.
It's going to be key for Tewksbury here. Obviously, like we said, capitalizing on those turnovers. So far, they are winning the turnover battle. Hopefully, they can keep that going throughout this game. Johnny Sullivan making a great play there, taking the charge, getting the offensive foul.
Absolutely. Pair of substitutions for Chelmsford. Mason Fretzny, number 1, and Milan Sondy come in for the Lions. But Chelmsford leading by 2, not even 3 minutes in. Sullivan pulls the trigger from 3. He's got it. What a start for Johnny Sullivan. Took a charge on one end, got the assist for the first bucket, and now gets a 3 to get the Redmen in front. Torini trying to respond at the other end, can't do so. Ball pops out to Fretzno, and it's intercepted by Lombardi. Chelmsford been a little careless with the basketball to start, Colin.
Yeah, definitely a little bit. So far, Tewksbury defense has been playing great, though.
We'll see a mix of that man-to-man, that zone defense that head coach Steve Boudreau loves to use. Him being in his 4th year with the program. Took him to the state tournament just 2 years ago. They won their first state tournament game in program history since 2015 with that victory. But a rough season last year where they just went 6-14, missing the tournament. And Maxey and Lombardi not on the same page there. Kind of turnovers aplenty for either side.
Yeah, definitely. Both teams a little careless with the ball so far. Probably just a little nervous getting into the game, couple days off, but hopefully they can turn that around here.
Chelmsford back to work on offense, a team that averages just over 60 points per game. Trying to even that record back to 500 after the loss to Drake back on Friday. A game where they were down 15 points back in the third quarter, fought all their way back, but another turnover goes against the Lions. They're just shooting themselves in the foot with the offensive foul.
Yes. So 4-2, a couple of unanswered points here for Tewksbury.
And already a quick 2 fouls for number 0, Jake Brooks, the senior captain. And that forces the sophomore, number 13, Jay Hopworth, to come in nice and early. Lombardi in the corner. Cash! Oh, Johnny Sullivan, his eyes are up right now. He's clamping down into the backcourt. And the Redmen are firing on offense. It's 8-4 Redmen, under 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Extra pass, the 3 for Sandy, can't respond. The rebound for Maxey. Sullivan wants to push the pace. He'll get the dribble handoff for Lombardi. Keskanidis resets the offense. He'll get it back. Steps into a 3. Got it! Oh, the Redmen are looking good from deep to start the game. It's 11-4 Tewksbury with 3:40 to go in the first.
You know, right now, even though Jaden Maxey hasn't found his way on the scoreboard, it's great to see him contribute a bunch of other ways, dishing the ball. Great on defense so far. Good to see.
And the Redmen fighting for every rebound as well. They earned that one. And Chelmsford head coach Chris Giordano cannot believe it. Someone who is pretty fairly new to this Lions program, coming over after 31 years of Charlie McCoy, who was the head coach for the Lions for all those years, over 3 decades. And some big shoes to fill. Feets gets the offensive rebound, goes up strong, count the hoop and the harm.
Love to see Mason Beatzer battling through contact to lay it in.
Tewksbury 13, Chelmsford 4, and the Redmen are rolling right now.
It's really a great start here for Tewksbury. Love to see it.
Beats gets one at the charity stripe to make it a double-digit lead, not even 5 minutes in, and he'll do so. Cullen, what has been the kind of secret sauce for the Redmen right now?
I think so far it's like, I hate to keep mentioning it, but the turnovers, they're really playing great defense. Like you said, that mix of the man and mix of zone that Coach Boudreau loves. They're really making the Lions just make mental errors and make those physical mistakes. It's really paying off so far here early.
And now we're seeing a full-court press, and a foul goes against Maxey just along the sideline. First personal for Maxey and the first team foul for the Redmen, as they've been very disciplined on defense, getting those hands in those passing lanes without fouling. 3:10 to play in the first quarter. Tewksbury 14, Chelmsford 4. It's the Redmen who are out to a quick start. Gabuka in some traffic. He'll kick it out. Howarth, dangerous pass. Veets got his hands in the cookie jar just a little bit too much, and he overcommitted for the foul. And Chelmsford right now, as you talked about, that stifling defense just to look a little flustered right now on the offensive end.
Yeah, definitely.
Here's Owen Hilton backing his way down, trying to find it inside, but Lombardi with the interception. He read it like a book.
That's another turnover there by the Lions. That's the fourth of the quarter so far for them.
Sullivan through some traffic, got fouled on the way up. Goes against number 13, Jay Howarth for the Lions, his first personal. Lions, one more foul puts the Redmen in the bonus. 2 at the line for Johnny Sullivan. We talked about his great comeback story of coming back from the ACL, but when we talked with head coach Boudreau before today's game, he said he's been that nice stabilizing figure for us, someone who, came in right away, kind of established himself as that one of those young leaders, and then, of course, has taken more of a leadership role now as an upperclassman.
Yeah, of course. Even last year when he was out hurt, fortunately couldn't play. He was still at practice every day, still getting shots up. He even pulled a Gordon Hayward, getting shots up from the chair.
There you go.
Great sign of leadership there by the young kid.
You see the brace he's got on that right leg. So hopefully mobility is back to 100% for him, but you still see that. You still hope that is the case. For the Redmen all over this first quarter, and speaking of Sullivan, right on cue. Kick out 3 for Colin Durkin. Back iron, no good. Beats the offensive board. Gets another miss, but finally finds the hands of Kabuka. Kabuka going to settle things down, trying to work it in the post, but some butterfingers from Nick Howard. He lost possession.
13 unanswered points here for the Redmen. See how long they can keep that going. Obviously, turnovers. Lions continuously shooting themselves in the foot here.
You sound like a broken record, my friend, and I don't blame you. 2 minutes and change to go in the first quarter. Tewksbury 15, Chelmsford 4 here in our second semifinal in the boys division. The winner plays Burlington on Friday night. Soft touch from Sullivan off the back of the heel. Kabuka wants to push the pace with the Redmen struggle in transition. 3 from the right wing, back iron no good. That was Bryce Baker who took that shot. Here comes Durkin in transition, slicing through the D. His shot short, but it might have gotten tipped, and it did. We'll stay with the Redmen.
Colin Durkin's a young key contributor here for the Redmen. Coach Boudreau expects big things out of him moving forward.
Absolutely. We talked with him before the game as well. He said someone who has plenty of potential. It's always great to have that nice spark plug off the bench as well. Lombardi going to work in the posts. Leaves it off for Veets. Extra pass for Durkin. Over the back goes Lombardi. Not the foul you want to take 200 feet away from the basket.
No, not at all.
24, this first team's fourth.
Substitution for the Redmen.
Redmen got to be careful here. Obviously, only one more foul to give before they put the Lions in the bonus.
Number 1, Grayson Ryder checks in. Mason Veets takes a seat. 90 seconds gone in this first quarter. It's Tewksbury 15, Chelmsford 4. The Lions really struggling to find their footing on offense. Kabuka trying to change that. He'll leave it off for Dylan Torini, who's really been held quiet in this first quarter and still remains 0 in this first frame.
Just seems like everything they're trying just isn't working. Shots aren't falling, layups aren't going in.
Lombardi the kick out. Sullivan, dribble drive. Lombardi relocates and hits.
It's a great shot there by Lombardi.
Timeout Chelmsford. The Redmen rolling in this first quarter. 58 seconds to go in the frame. It's Tewksbury 18, Chelmsford 4, and head coach Chris Giordano needs a timeout on that Chelmsford sideline.
That timeout can't come quick enough there for the Lions.
Now, if you are Chris Giordano in the huddle right now, what are you telling your guys?
Just got to tell them to slow down, take a break. They got to go back to their game. It's obviously worked so far. Obviously worked so far for them this season. They just got to work back to that. Got to try to eliminate those mental mistakes, clean up, protect the basketball a little bit.
And how about their star and Dylan Tyranny just held to no points in this first quarter. If you're a star senior, what do you got to do in this situation?
Just got to get that confidence back. Obviously, you just got to keep shooting. One will go in. I feel like for Tyranny, once one goes in, they all will.
Shoot or shoot, right?
Yeah, shoot or shoot.
Shoot or shoot. Again, 58 ticks to go in the first quarter. Tewksbury 18, Chelmsford 4. And the winner of this contest plays Friday night against the Burlington Red Devils, who handled the Bedford Buccaneers in our earlier session.
That'll be a very tough game for the winner of this one. Burlington, very well coached, very aggressive team, a lot of height. That'll be a very good game. Looking forward to Friday night.
Phil Connor is always making a special return here. The Romano was the coach for a handful of years for the Redmen before leaving, taking the job at Burlington, which he's been now there for a number of years. Redmen cause a turnover after the timeout. Lombardi trying to make him pay. Can't do so. Chelmsford looking for something. One and done. Lombardi pushing the pace. And a finish at the other end.
Great transition basketball so far out of Tewksbury.
Cascanitas continues to find his way on the score sheet. Redmen have pushed the 20 spot here in the first quarter. Howarth resetting things. 15 seconds to go in the first quarter. Shot clock is dead. And another turnover against Chelmsford. The Redmen defense is all over the floor. Lions don't really have anywhere to breathe.
I know. Tewksbury very aggressive on defense. Feels like the minute a Lions player gets the ball, the Tewksbury defender's right on them.
Good defense usually pays off to good offense. Lombardi, his hand got tipped. Final seconds of the first quarter, Lions got a shot up, and just about the story of that first quarter.
I know.
They can't get one to fall, but after one, Tewksbury 20, Chelmsford 4, 8 minutes down. We still got a lot of basketball left, but the Redmen in front early. We'll be right back to Tewksbury TV. Stay with us. Tewksbury Memorial High School, Colin Mangan, Andrew Delpiano back with you on a Monday night here in the Bury. Tewksbury leading 20-4 over Chelmsford, and Cullen, I don't think that was the first quarter we were expecting, my friend.
No, definitely not at all. I was expecting a very close back and forth game. Unfortunately, we weren't really met with that, but if you're a Tewksbury fan, you're off to a great start tonight.
And that man-to-man defense stifling in that first quarter. Chelmsford had to be in the plus 10 category for turnovers, something that head coach Steve Boudreau really preaching before today's game. His opponents have turned it over 20 times in every single one of those first 3 games. Seems like the formula to success to start tonight.
Yeah, obviously good defense means good offense. A lot of time, especially when Tewksbury is good in transition too. So that's great to see. Great defense really leading to a lot of points here for the Redmen.
Chelmsford starting this frame in a 2-3 zone as Maxey gets pushed out of bounds. Foul goes against Jake Brooks. Basketball will come back into play from under the Chelmsford basket. Steve Boudreau just about at midcourt to call that play.
Love to see his passion.
Inbound comes all the way to the top of the key and knocked down 3. That's Grayson Ryder.
These young players are really contributing so far for the Redmen. Massive roster turnover from last year. It's great to see.
If you're in the roster tonight for Tewksbury, you've probably hit a 3 in this game. Backdoor feed and 1. Much needed for Andrew Murray. Nice little feed there on the backside as well.
Yeah, that's a great pass. Great pass, even better finish, fighting through contact there.
So Chelmsford, after nearly going 4 minutes without a basket, you finally get one, probably a little monkey off the back as well, trying to create some momentum.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times, like, the hardest one's always the first one. So once you get a couple, then they start to come a little bit easier there. Maybe that'll be the story so far for the Lions.
Second foul for Jaden Maxey, so something to keep an eye on for the Redmen, as he was their leading scorer entering today, just north of 15 points per game. But Murray, bank is open on Monday, makes it a 23-7 game. 30 seconds gone in the second quarter. Chelmsford coming out in a half-court press defense as well. It nearly pays off.
Great save by Lombardi there on the baseline.
They'll keep that possession alive. Sullivan, extra pass. Ryder's triple, got it! Oh my, the ball moving at the top of the key right now for the Redmen.
I know,
really moving.
It's amazing to see. Another great shot there by Colin Durkin as well.
And how about Grayson Ryder? A pair of triples to 6 points off the bench. only in his sophomore campaign.
Another takeaway by Tewksbury.
Tewksbury 26, Chelmsford 7. Lombardi corner three, no doubt.
No, Andrew, it almost seems like they can't miss so far.
It's like the Steph Curry challenge out there. Tewksbury 29, Chelmsford 7. A minute and a half gone in the second. We're getting to blowout territory already. Fadeaway jumper from Baker, much needed bucket for the Lions.
You know, at this point, I feel like if you're a Chelmsford Lion here, you're just trying to keep the game close. Hopefully, just keep it within striking distance and maybe turn it around later. But right now, Tewksbury, they're going pretty good here.
Ryder already with a pair of triples. Lombardi straight away. Back iron it out. Rebound, though, for Viets. Fouled before the shot. That basket will not count. But again, Tewksbury with those offensive boards. Chelmsford, in a game like this where you're down by 20 early, you need those one and dones.
Yeah, definitely. No, every time the ball goes off the rim, it seems like a Tewksbury player is there to get it on both sides of the court, really.
Tewksbury has out-rebounded all three of their opponents to start the season as well. Got a whistle before the start of the play. Official talking things over just in front of the Chelmsford bench. Not sure what that was about, my friend, but we play on.
Looks like they put they marked the wrong foul on the scoreboard there.
So first against Torini for that foul. Lombardi fighting some extra hands there in the mix for his offensive rebound. Sullivan a triple. No good. Tipped it back out right in the hands of Mason Fetzner. Chelmsford a little bit lucky on that possession. Redmond had some good looks. Torini lost the handle on it. Here comes Durkin in transition. Up with the right and scores.
Key takeaway there by Durkin. Great defense. Again, leading an offensive result there for the Redmen.
And I'm telling you, this junior class has been fun to watch for the Redmen.
It really has. The juniors for Tewksbury, it seems like they lead the charge both offensively and defensively for the team.
In a year that you really needed some extra players to step up, especially with guys like Kyle Cummings and guys like that leaving the program just last year. You need those guys to step up. And even guys like Luke Monteo as well, someone who was big for them in the back half of the season as well.
Yeah, like we said earlier, there has been a lot of roster turnover, a lot of key players leaving for the Redmen. AJ Senior as well, now playing at Framingham State.
Yeah.
Big loss there at the guard position for the Redmen, but so far it looks like that depth off the bench has made up for that.
Gabe Keskanitas checks back in, replacing Johnny Sullivan, who's had a scorching first half. Viets knocks down both. Tewksbury 33, Chelmsford 9. Lions looking for just something to get them back in this ball game. And that will help. Louis Kabuka drawing the foul. They're going to give that one to Lombardi. That's his second as well, so Redmond's starting to get a little bit into foul trouble. You got to credit the Lions starting to attack the rim just a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe that's how they can start to turn this game around a little bit. Maybe that's how they play normally, playing aggressive, attacking the rim. Getting back to those basics, like we said earlier, that will probably lead to more positive results here for the Lions.
And something that Chris Giordano, the head coach for Chelmsford, really trying to improve on. This team only shot 48% from the line, and the loss to Drake had also only shot 12% from three.
Ooh.
Now, that hasn't really been the deciding factor. It's been taking care of the basketball that's been the biggest problem, but you miss those. That doesn't help either.
Oh, definitely not. That's another great play there by Tewksbury in transition.
5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Sullivan back into the ball game. Redmond 33, Lions 10. Great dish. Swatted away. Sondi getting his big right paw in the mix there to swat it. Kabuka relocates in the left corner. Hard drive to the rim. Great defense, though.
Durkin's lucky they didn't call a foul on him there. Looks like he got a lot of arm.
Sullivan leaves it off for Viets. Go to work. Oh, what a cut from Canistis, and he scores. That off-ball movement's been fun to watch.
It really has been. moving the ball around very well so far. It's almost like a Celtic style of basketball, moving the ball around, finding who's open. It's great to see.
Feets got slapped in the face on that defensive board, no foul. Cross-court feed for Durkin, who drives. Kicks it out. Ryder, how about another? No. That would have been his third triple of this first half. Torini, we haven't called his name much, just his first bucket of the game. He's their leading scorer entering today. Ryder trying to answer at the other end, can't do so. Torini picks up the board, will jump it up.
Tewksbury has gone a little bit cold here the past couple of possessions. I think it's been 3 possessions without a score, but they are still hustling around. They are still aggressive, attacking the rim.
Possession arrow, the line.
Chelmsford basketball after the possession arrow favors them. Jake Brooks comes back in the game. He's got 2 fouls.
Jaden Maxey about to check in here for Tewksbury.
Also with 2 fouls. Brooks right off the bench going to work and draws the foul. But if you're Chelmsford, you just need some sort of spark plug right now.
Yeah, you know, Dylan Torini, I'd look for him to try to get that spark going there for the Lions. Senior, captain, leading scorer. Those are the guys that teams really rely on to get everybody going.
It's Jake Brooks who gets 2 at the line for the Lions. And he gets the first substitutions for the Redmen. Sal Catanzano checks in as well as Maxey back into the lineup. Tewksbury leads 35-13 with 3.5 to go in the first half. Knocks down both. Shane Kagetti back into the game for Chelmsford. Inbound comes over the top to Sullivan. Durkin, cross-court pass. Not enough space for Keskanitas to shoot. Sullivan, little hesitation in the teeth of the defense, blocked. Catanzano with the pickpocket from behind, and Maxey's fouled. Just when Chelmsford thinks they can run in transition, the Redmen say, not quite.
I know. Seems like this has been a theme throughout the game. Everything that Chelmsford does, Tewksbury has an answer for. Even when Chelmsford does take a little bit of advantage of a Tewksbury mistake, they rebound very well.
It's a 3-touchdown lead for the Redmen, 35-14 with 3:15 to go in the first half. Maxey on the baseline drive. Sullivan spins off his man, leaves it off for Catanzano. He got it blocked. Gets it back. Chelmsford still hounding on defense. 3 ball for Keskanistas. No good. Chelmsford lets it go. It'll be Lion basketball.
It's going to be interesting to see what Chelmsford does here in this next possession. Seems like if they can make a 3, even score, and get some points on the board, they could keep this game close. Maybe narrow it down as we get to the half here. If not, Tewksbury could really start to pull away, even more so than they are already on the next possession.
It's going to be a long halftime for head coach Charlie Giordano for Chelmsford if he wants to get this team back into it. He'll jump it up once again.
Jump ball, Tewksbury possession.
Tewksbury is really not afraid of contact. It seems like every time there's a loose ball, they're going for it. 2 consecutive jump balls there right in a row. It's good to see. It's a good style of basketball.
Dangerous play in the backcourt. It's Chelmsford ball. Durkin was looking for Maxey after the inbound, but it last went off of a white jersey. Chelmsford looking for a set play here. Torini gets that one-on-one with Maxey we were talking about earlier. 3 for Kabuka, yes! First one in the game for the Lions, and if that wasn't more much-needed calling, I don't know what is.
I know. Felt like so far for the Lions, it felt like they couldn't throw a rock out of a boat and hit water, but good to see that they can still hit the 3 ball.
Well, now they got a steal on the offensive end, and Jake Brooks drawing some contact on offense as well.
Catanzano couldn't quite plant his feet to draw the charge. Picks up that foul.
timeout. That's his first foul. Team's fourth of the quarter.
Official's going to say that one was on the floor. Yeah.
Lions ball underneath. Ranger in the game.
One more foul for Tewksbury puts Chelmsford in the bonus.
Mason Veach checking back in. He was getting a little bit of medical attention. We'll see if that will impact him moving forward in this game.
Inside feed for Kabuka. No basket. Foul came before the shot.
Chris Giordano, the head coach of the Lions, really upset with that call there.
Do you blame him?
No, not at all.
That one looked to be in the air, but Redmond kind of get away with one. Kabuka nevertheless shoots two as the Redmond. That fifth foul puts the Lions in the bonus. And he strong arms the first. Tewksbury 35, Chelmsford 17 with 2:05 to go in the first half.
That's a terrible turn of events. Again, making the basket, getting it called off, and then missing both free throws. Lions end up with no points there. That's really unfortunate. That hurts them.
Could have had that possession with 3 points. You end up with nothing.
Lions fifth of the quarter, putting the Redmond.
And a chance where you could have really turned the page. You got the three at the offensive end. You made a steal at the defensive end.
Could have pulled out within a 15-point game there.
Absolutely. Colin Durkin at the line, knocks down the first. We talked about him earlier in the ballgame, someone that Coach Boudreau said has plenty of potential, and we've seen that on full display from the junior. He's got a very high basketball IQ, and he loves to run in transition.
He's one of those just natural athletes, great on the baseball field too. It's really good to see him grow over the past couple of years. You know, seeing him play in JV, seeing him find himself as a basketball player. Obviously now what he's learned at the lower levels has contributed here at the varsity game.
Torini, open three. Who's got it? Chelmsford does, but it's blocked. Credit that one to Mason Veets on the defensive end. Sullivan spinning out of traffic. We got a timeout here. Double dribble, timeout. Oh, Chris Giordano cannot believe it as Sullivan was squirming his way over half court. Thought he lost the basketball. He'll stay with it. Timeout for Tewksbury.
Feels like Tewksbury lucked out with that one.
That's exactly what Chris Giordano is arguing right now. As Tewksbury leads 36-17 with 91 seconds to go in the first half. A game where Tewksbury really ran away with it in the first quarter, Cullen. I think this lead could be a little bit bigger for the Redmond, but Chelmsford, they're staying in it.
Yeah, definitely. Chelmsford kind of getting back to the basics there, like we said. Obviously playing a lot better basketball here. So far scoring 13 points here in the second quarter. Kind of consistent with how the Redmen have done. Obviously keeping the game much closer, much more interesting game than a blowout, obviously.
A game that we were kind of more expecting off the top rather than the Redmen breaking open a 21-point lead earlier in the second quarter. It'll be Redmond basketball out of the timeout. Still in firm control of this ball game. The winner of this one takes on Burlington on Friday night. Loser plays Bedford in the earlier session on Friday. One of the longer stretches of Romano tournament we've had where you start on the 23rd, you can't play on Christmas Eve, you can't play on Christmas Day. The 26th, can't do that either, so you extend this tournament all the way out to Friday.
Yeah, big layoff for teams. I feel like a lot of teams won't practice tomorrow or on Wednesday.
I mean, those hotel fees, they really got to be adding up.
Yeah.
Mason Veets with an easy two. I'm just kidding.
Luckily the travel isn't too bad getting from Chelmsford, Burlington, or Bedford over here.
It is not. It is not the Maui Invitational out here, I'll tell you that. 1:10 to go in the half. Veets got his hand in the cookie jar, caught for the foul.
Tewksbury fouls on the floor.
Luckily there aren't going to be any teams putting up a UConn performance out here like they did in the Maui Invitational.
Oh, absolutely. Two at the line for Owen Hilton. One of the 7 seniors on this Lions team. They graduated 5 just a campaign ago, including Tyler Allen, who was an MVC All-Star just a season ago. Takes care of one, not number two. And Viets strips it away from Kabuka. Just over a minute to go in the first half. Tewksbury 38, Chelmsford 18. Redmen looking to add to that lead before heading to the locker room. Sullivan, that teardrop can't fall. Can't get there. Wants to push the face. We'll take a whistle beforehand, and that's because Chris Giordano called timeout. We'll take it with them. 49 ticks to go at half number one. Tewksbury 28, Chelmsford 18. We'll be right back after a short break. Clock frozen with 49 seconds to go in the first half. We welcome you back inside the Romano Gymnasium here at Tewksbury Memorial High School. Colin Mangan, Andrew Del Piano with you on this Monday night. Second semifinal of the boys division between Tewksbury and Chelmsford. Tewksbury in front 38-18.
Chelmsford is starting to turn the game around, though, despite the score. Tewksbury running away with it, getting up to a 21-point lead. Chelmsford has started to narrow it a little bit. Tewksbury has started to score a little bit over the past couple minutes or so to bring that lead back up to 20.
Lions with the basketball looking to cut into this deficit before heading to the locker room. Redmond in a 1-2-2 zone defense. Long three from Brooks. Off the mark. Offensive rebound for Kabuka. Can't get it to go. And then Sullivan fouled under the hoop.
Sullivan loves that he got fouled there, smiling, jogging halfway up the court.
Chelmsford foul is on number 4, Dylan Tarini.
Fourth foul against Tarini. And one more, Cullen. He is done for the night. And you can kind of see the puzzled look on Chris Giordano right now of, should I take out my leading scorer, as he only has one more foul, and he's done.
I know, it's a really interesting position considering he does have some pretty star power capability. Obviously, Giordano does take him out there, as you can see.
I mean, just one more and he's done for the game. Something you really can't afford to lose. Already down by 20. You've already dug yourself a pretty big hole.
And obviously, Dylan Tarini is a piece that Chelmsford is going to need there to kind of claw themselves out of this hole as the game progresses.
Sullivan knocks down both. It's 40-18 Tewksbury in the final 20 seconds of half number one. Baker, a triple. Rims out. Rebound for Catzano. 10 seconds to play in the half. Redmond looking for that final shot. Good ball movement, extra pass. Ryder through the lane. Will kick it out. Turkin a triple. Short, and that does it for half number one. But a half that was completely dominated by Tewksbury, leading 14-18 as we got 16 minutes down. Still 16 minutes to go from the Romano. We'll take a short halftime break here from TMHS and be right back after this. Stay with us. Welcome back inside the Romano Gymnasium, high above Romano Gymnasium, that is. Colin Mangan, Andrew Del Piano back with you. Tewksbury leading 40-18 after one half of play. And Colin, all Tewksbury all first half, they did so really with the offensive end and the defensive end really working cohesively as a unit.
Yeah, definitely. Tewksbury has been great in transition tonight, making Chelmsford make those mistakes, turning the ball over a lot. And Tewksbury has been capitalizing on them, being quick in transition up. And even when they're not, they have been moving the ball around very well on offense, establishing themselves. And then scoring. The three ball has been great so far for Tewksbury.
Now, if you're head coach Chris Giordano for Chelmsford right now, what are you telling your guys to get back in this one?
You just got to, you can't panic, you know. Down 22 points, you kind of just got to play your game. You can't start hucking up threes. Just got to slow everything down, take a break, start shooting the ball, moving around, just establish yourselves, and then hopefully good things will come by doing that.
And what are you expecting to see more from Tewksbury in the second half?
Expecting them to keep moving forward. Maybe the three ball won't keep going in. Kind of expect that. Can't establish a very high shooting percentage throughout the game, but I expect to see pretty good ball movement and obviously great defense moving forward.
Well, the Redmen leading by 22 after 16 minutes of play. We got the other 16 minutes of action here on the other side. We'll be right back after a short break. Second half action just about to get underway here from the Romano. Again, Colin Mangan, Andrew Del Piano with you from TMHS. The Redmen leading 14-18 over the Lions in our second semifinal of the Tony Romano Christmas Tournament. The sixth annual, that is. The Redmen being the defending champions after not winning one in those first 4 years, picking that one up just a year ago. And they've done so in a variety of ways. So many different scorers finding the action, and a lot of three-point shooting as well.
A lot of three-point shooting, a lot of contributions from young players coming off the bench. Colin Durkin, Grayson Ryder, two key examples of that. Hopefully they can keep that moving forward. Hopefully the three ball keeps going in here in the second half of the Redmen.
And the Redmen, they really capitalized in the second half last game as well. They had plus 40 points in that second half against Haverhill to get that victory. And they'd love another 40-point half here as you're up by 22 with 16 minutes ago. And that is underway with Chelmsford getting the basketball first. So like you said, if you're Chelmsford, you really got to limit turnovers. You got to find a way to get yourself back in this game early because time's going to become your enemy really quick.
Yeah, Chelmsford, they need to get better at rebounding, too, as the game moves on. Tewksbury has been pretty much winning every rebound on both sides of the court throughout the game.
How about Jaden Maxey in transition? Redmond cash in with the first 2 points of the second half.
Maxey's a really key player for the Redmen. Hopefully he can score a little bit more, contribute a little bit more offensively. He has been making contributions all night, especially on defense and rebounding, but hopefully he can score a little bit more here.
And of course, with Chelmsford's leading scorer, Dylan Tarini, still on the bench with those 4 fouls. Who else are you looking to in this Chelmsford lineup to kind of step up?
Obviously, Jake Brooks, another senior captain for him. Pretty tall player, pretty obviously needing to rebound a little bit more. That's going to be very important. Andrew Murray as well. He has a bunch of points so far. Hopefully, if you're a Lions fan, you want him to kind of expand on that and keep going a little bit more.
Well, Murray right on cue, hit this underneath part of the backboard. And the Lions have gone scoreless in the first minute to start the second half. Lombardi, plenty of open space. He'll go off the drive. Replay it back out for Keskanitis. He relocates in the left corner. Steps up, but he got fouled beforehand. That little pump fake just did enough to get the defender to bite.
Yeah, for a pretty small guy, he fights through contact very well, especially towards the baseline of the small confined area there.
Gets a fresh shot clock for the Redmen with 6:42 to go in the third quarter. No one picks up Sullivan, and he can't make him pay, though. Too strong.
Design play there by the Redmen. Getting Sullivan open.
Through the lane, Sullivan took the hit. He's still down on the parquet. And the Redmen still force another miss. Lombardi through the teeth of the defense, kicks it out. No one picking up Viets in the far block. He goes up with it, too strong. Brooks keeps his eyes up, looking for options. Extra pass for Kabuka.
Both teams struggling to get going offensively here in the third quarter.
Lombardi, he can't change that the offensive end. It's looking like an AAU game out there right now.
A lot of just back and forth. Not a lot of scoring here to start the second half.
And if you're the Redmen, you're completely fine with that. Sondy had the open lane. Kickball violation goes against the Redmen. And Chelmsford retains possession. 5:47 to go in the third quarter. Redmen with the only 2 points in this frame to jump to a 42-18 lead. Kabuka spins off a one. Sondy drives to the right hand, goes up, teardropper no good. Poked out, all the way out to Keskanistis. One-on-one with Brooks, goes in off the bank and in. That's a tough bucket.
Very tough bucket.
Redmen extend the lead 44-18 with 5.5 to go in the third. Brooks gets fouled.
Brooks is fouled on the shot. Tewksbury fouls on number 24, Phil Lombardi.
Third personal against Phil Lombardi.
Lombardi kind of getting in a little bit of foul trouble here. Three personal fouls early on here in the third quarter. Something to look out for as the game moves on. Lombardi, a big impact player for the Redmen, needs to cut down on the fouls here moving forward.
Do at the line for Jake Brooks, the senior captain. Something that you talked about. He constantly needs to get going a little bit in the absence of Tarini, who's sitting there with 4 fouls on the bench for number 4.
It's going to be interesting to see when Chris Giordano decides to put him back in. It needs to be at some point soon here. It's kind of a risk that you need to take down by 26 here.
He almost seems destined to kind of pick up that 5th foul when he gets back in the game at some point.
Just got to hope that he puts some points on the board before that happens.
Exactly. Keskanistis through a pair of 2 brown jerseys, takes it out. Sullivan 3. Bingo! Johnny Sullivan makes it a 29-point Tewksbury lead, 47-18. And he gets a block on the defensive end with the foul, and Murray is the recipient. Not sure how he stayed with that one.
Follows on number 2, Johnny Sullivan. That's his second foul. Team's third of the quarter.
Murray gets one at the line. Tewksbury 47, Chelmsford 20. Murray can't convert on the old school 3-point play. It's a 2-point possession, it's a 2 points possession for the Lions. Sullivan escapes out of Brooks, and he got hit.
Foul on the floor is on number 0, Jay Brooks.
That's also the 4th for Brooks as well. So your 2 guards in some serious foul trouble. But number 0 is going to stay in the game, Colin.
I think that's actually a smart play by Giordano. Obviously, Dylan Torini, very impactful player. Not that Jake Brooks isn't, but in my opinion, if you'd rather have a player foul out, it would be Jake Brooks. That way you can save Dylan Torini for later on in the fourth quarter. Trying to cut the lead down a little bit.
Full head of steam right on cue for Brooks.
Looks like that was the right decision.
Gets 2 there. Sullivan, not sure how he stayed in bounds with that. Redmond, a little bit of an odd man rush here. Extra pass from Maxey. Oh, what a dish from Beats. Usually don't see your big man look up and find that.
These stretch passes have been really impactful for Tewksbury throughout the game. I feel like that would have been an adjustment that Chelmsford would have made at halftime, but clearly not.
Offensive board for Howarth. Puts it up from the free-throw line. Rattles out. Tewksbury 49, Chelmsford 22 under the halfway point of this third quarter. Gasconisis makes his defender fall. Oh, that would have been barbecue chicken. Top of the key for Baker. Wants to go one-on-one. Takes the bump and the shot. And he'll get 2.
Mason Fetzner about to check in for the Lions, young sophomore guard. Directly as a result of the 2 older guards being in foul trouble here.
It's always tougher to do in the early part of the season where those younger guys, they haven't developed a lot of confidence just yet. You kind of have to thrust them into go situations.
Yeah, sometimes the best way to do it is just by throwing them off the defense.
There you go.
They're on the team for a reason. They can do it.
It's like throwing that baby into a pool. You got to make them swim.
Rather do it here, too, where the stakes aren't as high. Every player has their role, and whether that be here in a blowout game, their contributions will be needed later on in the season at some point.
Baker knocks down 1 of 2, makes it 49-23. Another 3.5 to go in the third.
Another stretch pass there by the Redmen.
Wide open Ryder. He's still looking for that 4th 3 of the game. Baker right into the teeth. Lombardi might have got a piece of the ball.
Lombardi needed to be careful there. Reaching over the top, didn't want to pick up that 4th personal.
Gasconitas for 3. 52-23, the Redmond lead. Baker back to work, lost the handle on it. Will stay with Chelmsford. Chris Giordano takes a timeout for Chelmsford. We'll take it with them. 2:46 to go in quarter number 3. The Redmen continue to put their foot on the gas pedal, I should say, leading 52-23. We'll take a short break and be right back after a quick word. 2:46 frozen on the third quarter clock. It's been all Redmen just about all night, with Tewksbury leading 52-23 over Chelmsford in the second semifinal of the Romano tournament. Burlington waiting in the wings. We still see head coach Phil Connors of the Red Devils lingering around doing some scouting before the championship on Friday, as we get closer and closer to that ball game in the nightcap on Friday night here from the Romano.
Today has really been a great day of basketball. This has been the first real true blowout throughout the day. Obviously the Burlington-Bedford game, the scoreboard didn't really reflect how competitive that game was.
Burlington really got a run for their money in the last couple of moments. Bedford kind of emptied out the bench to let some reserve get some playing time. And you look up at the scoreboard, it's an 8-point game. And someone, if you take care of free throws early in the game, that could have been a much closer contest. But still, Burlington, one of the best teams in the state as always. Sunday on the baseline drive. He can't get that to fall, and kind of sums up the night for Chelmsford. Even the easy ones won't drop.
Yeah, they're getting some pretty decent looks here in the second half. Just nothing's going in.
And a big thing we talked about after that first quarter was limiting those turnovers. They have. Just the shots haven't fallen. The shots have fallen for Johnny Sullivan.
Even when he's covered pretty well, Louis Kabuka had his hands in his face, and Johnny Sullivan still got over him to put that one in.
Redmond did not make the state tournament last year. I think they might be destined with a guy like number 2 running the point guard. Lombardi adding that total. He does. Oh, it's like shoot around out there. 58-23, the Redmond advantage. And Chris Giordano has to take another timeout. He's just scratching his head saying, what else can I do?
There's really not much that he can do. They're playing pretty good defense. They're not letting him get wide open looks, even though Lombardi there had a pretty good shot, but they are playing pretty decent defense. Just these threes are just going in.
58-23. Tewksbury has broken its largest lead of the game with 1:40 frozen on the third quarter clock. And by far, this has been the best offensive performance of the season for the Redmen. You think after that second half they got ahead against Haverhill, they scored north of 40 points. That one had to really be tough to be topped in the next coming weeks. Just 2 days later, they're just about to top that season high, as they're only about 10 or so points away from breaking that.
Yeah, they're playing great basketball right now, especially offensively. Hopefully they can keep this going throughout the season and really do much better this year than they did last year. Obviously, like you said, they didn't make the tournament. Obviously, that was mainly due to injuries. They were banged up down the stretch. Obviously, Johnny Sullivan. Luke Monteo as well, another big player, key contributor for them last year, unfortunately graduated. He was banged up down the stretch as well. If they can keep this offense going throughout the year, they'll be destined for a deep tournament run.
A dangerous team. A team that could definitely be 3-0 at the moment. You look at that close game to Central Catholic. You go to double overtime with Concord Carlisle. That game could have gone either way. And, of course, you pick up the victory with Haverhill back on Friday. But we do see number 4 for Chelmsford, Dylan Tyrini, back in the ball game. He's got 4 fouls, only a handful of points for him, as he's been really held quiet by this Tewksbury D. Burns relocates in the corner. Got nothing but the air on that one.
Tyrini is a dangerous player, though. They got to make sure that he doesn't get hot here, or else this game could start to turn around.
Some playing time for number 11, Zachary Salvaggio. Coach Boudreau kind of gives him the heartbeat of this team and really do everything as a teammate. He's getting some playing time right now, and Jake Brooks, another hard drive to the rim.
Really shows how important Zach Salvaggio is to this team, being elected a captain by his peers and by Coach Boudreau as well.
And he flat out said in the meeting when we met with him just a couple of days ago that he's someone who won't see a lot of playing time this year, but someone who's selfless. He's the hardest working guy on the team, and overall just a great teammate.
He sets the tone, clearly. Sets the tone being elected a captain. Works hard in practice, challenges his teammates. It's what successful teams need. Every really good team has that type of player.
And all this stuff to do as a first-year varsity players, too, is get named by your teammates as a captain.
Yes.
Brooks knocks down 1 of 2. 58-24, the Redmond lead with 55 seconds and counting left in the third. Sullivan going to kick it to the senior captain in the corner. He's doubled, and Coach Boudreau going to burn a timeout here with 46 ticks to go in quarter number 3. We'll keep it with you with the Redmen kind of in pure domination form tonight. But again, in these fourth quarter, you don't want to see games kind of get away from you a little bit. Something that Tewksbury did well in their last time out was they kept their foot on the gas pedal against Haverhill. Now again, you still got a 34-point lead here tonight, but still, you don't want to pick up any bad habits going into the fourth.
Yeah, those bad habits, especially in the fourth quarter, and with a lot of days off here before the next game, those can carry over. Especially those bad habits, those will hurt Tewksbury when they play Burlington, assuming the score holds on Friday.
Now, I'll throw this question out more of as a food for thought, but are you kind of laying everything on the table right now for Burlington to see because you know Phil Connor's in the building?
I think so.
All right.
I think you are trying to prove that message. If you get above 70 points here, assuming which seems like it's definitely a possibility here with a whole quarter left to play, you want to show that offense is what it's capable of, really.
It's funny. It makes me think of what Josh Allen said after the Patriots game yesterday, that he said that we're fighting for the 1 seed. We don't control our own destiny. So on offense, we might not be showing all of our cards, which I thought was an interesting message. Somewhat applies to the situation here, but still, just a little food for thought. Redmond with the basketball fresh out of the timeout. Lombardi inbounds just in front of the Redmond bench. They'll get it off to Mason Beets, who checks back in the game. About a 22-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Sullivan, free throw line jumper is true. And that jumper from number 2 is just silky smooth.
It really is. It's amazing how good his shot is and really has been consistently throughout the year, going back to last year, obviously not playing, but having that confidence and having that technique as a freshman, just being able to hit everything, it's really amazing.
Nearly at the swab, the defensive end as well. I mean, I don't know if you've ever dealt with a major injury during your playing career. Fortunately enough, I was not as well, but to have that full recovery and kind of be back to that same exact player you were, that seems like a tough thing to do.
Yeah, definitely, especially off an injury like that, an ACL tear. Especially like when you're young, trying to build up that confidence, that obviously hurts physically, but mentally as well.
This is Nick Howard at the charity stripe for Chelmsford. 3 substitutions in for the Lions, starting to work those starters back in the game. Still want to go down without a fight here. As Howard gets the front end of the 2, 60-25 Redmond lead. 15 seconds to go in the third quarter. 3 ball from the corner, no. That would have been a big one for Salvaggio. I think this place would have erupted.
I know
the bench certainly would have.
You see the 3 assistant coaches there standing up begging for it to go in.
It's a good staff that head coach Steve Boudreau has beside him. And Dean Graffio, Ken Duffett, he brought back some alumni as well, and Tyler Wilson and Brian Carlton. When I asked about having both Wilson and Carlton on the staff, he said it's very special to have him, especially coaches that can relate to the younger generation of basketball with this game that is ever so evolving. He said Carlton does a great job of the X's and O's, scouting out other teams. You'll always see him with the iPad in his hand, running through different game scripts, and then Tyler Wilson, who is a great program player as well. He's really the motivator behind that.
Yeah, Brian Carlton graduating 2 years ago. It's amazing to see him coaching now. Obviously, just graduating a year before I did. But even when he was still playing, he was always one of the most well-prepared players. It's going to be amazing to see what he can do, obviously, as a coach this year and throughout his coaching career. Someone
who's translated that on-court play to the coaching staff. Maybe something that Tewksbury will do as a team right now, because they are dominating 60-27 after 3 quarters of play. We'll take a short break and be right back after this. Helen Mangan, Andrew Delpiano with you on this Monday night from TMHS. Tewksbury dominant through these first 3 quarters, leading 60-27. Just wanted to put a cherry on top before advancing to the championship on Friday night. And an early foul to start the fourth quarter here, but kind of picking up on that conversation we left off in that third quarter, Cullen. We're talking about this coaching staff, Brian Carlton, who's now back on the staff. He said, when we spoke with Coach Boudreau, he said he was someone who was very involved in their summer camp and someone that you really had to put on the coaching staff because how involved he was with this team. So a great player to coach story that, we kind of see a lot nowadays, but, when players are in the back end of their careers, a lot more going into coaching. Carlton doing that only 2 or 3 years so out of graduating.
Yeah, it's really important, obviously, since you mentioned it, since he's a younger guy, being able to form those connections, be a positive role model, just so these guys can really relate to someone more their own age. Not that they can't relate to Coach Boudreau or Coach Duffett, but it's just so much more impactful that someone their own age.
Dylan Torini, the leading scorer for Chelmsford. We've talked about a plethora in this game. Just picked up his 5th foul. He is done for the night. And Probably a night to forget for him.
Mm-hmm.
Credit that to a lot of great Redmond defense here tonight. Salvaggio's picked. Owen Hilton getting his hand in to intercept it, but he turns it right back over.
It is going to be interesting to see how Dylan Torini can rebound Friday night. Playing against the Bedford defense on Friday, it is a little bit more zone heavy, not as aggressive as Tewksbury is, so maybe that can help him turn it around on Friday.
Redmond go one and done. You can tell they really want to get the ball in the hands of Salvaggio in there in the court. Every time he touches it, that bench rises up. Kabuka short arms a three. Gets his own miss. Fresh 35 for the Lions. We're emptying out the bench just a little bit. We don't see too many starters on the floor. The only one that is in the game right now is Louis Kabuka, who has the ball. And I don't really know if you want to call this a reality check for Chelmsford, because we were expecting a lot closer game between these two teams. They always have great matchups, but for Redmond, they threw that first punch tonight and they never looked back.
Yeah. Obviously, the only lead that Chelmsford had was before, like, 30 seconds into the game, right? Up 2-0.
That was the only lead for Chelmsford tonight, and the Redmond have ran away since. The Redmond get a little bit careless with the basketball. Durkin turns it over. Here comes Fetzner. Offensive rebound and 2 for Howard. And this is kind of what we talked about at the end of the third quarter. You don't want to pick up those kind of lazy habits. Again, this is kind of the back end of the bench, but guys that are still fighting for minutes in the rotation.
Yeah. Especially, there are still some starters in for Tewksbury. Obviously, Johnny Sullivan in, Sal Canzano, who does play a big role on the team, Colin Durkin.
Offensive rebound for Canzano. Fresh 35. Sullivan handles it. Cross-court pass. Redmond really trying to spread out this 1-1-3 zone that Chelmsford's running right now. Sullivan called for the double dribble. Thought about going to the corner, but just had that extra dribble.
Trying to point out, even though this is a blowout game here, how engaged the Tewksbury bench is. Every time they're on offense, point out where they go to the ball. Every time Zach Salvaggio shoots or has the ball in his hands, they're all out. They're all standing up. It's great to see how engaged everyone is, how close everyone is. Because you could have all the talent in the world, but if you're not a close team, if you don't trust them, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to be successful.
That was Milan Sandi on the triple for Chelmsford to make it a 60-34 game with 5 minutes and change to go in the fourth. Pair of substitutions waiting at the table for the Redmen. As Johnny Sullivan just trying to play keep away right now with Durkin in the zone defense.
Trying to kill some clock.
That's number 22, Michael Coameta, into the game for the Redmen. He draws the contact. Got some fresh faces into the game for the Redmen as well. As number 4, Tatum Lynn comes in, as well as number 13, Owen Caggiano. Caggiano, a senior. Lim, a sophomore. He's one of 2 sophomores on this team with Grayson Ryder.
Even though these minutes may not seem important, Andrew, they really are. Obviously, it shows like the coaching staff what they have going forward, building up confidence for the younger guys. It is really important, even though it's a blowout game. A
good chance to rest your starters as well. Don't have a game until Friday anyways, but still. Nice drive by Owen Hilton to get 2. 60-36, the Redmond lead.
Like you said, it is a really long season. Resting up those starters is important just so that wear and tear doesn't build up. Helps prevent injuries as well.
Hope that wear and tear isn't impactful here in December, but still. Only 4 games into the season. Battle for the ball between Lim and Fetzner. Goes the way of the Lions thanks to the jump ball.
Follows on Tewksbury number 4, Tatum Lynn. His first. Team's first of the quarter.
Step back 3 for Hilton from the near corner. Too strong.
Story of the game.
Get those open looks, but they just haven't cashed in tonight. It was really that first quarter that set the tone. Caggiano 3 hits the front rim. Coach Boudreau kind of throwing up his arms saying, set up the offense. Let's get a good look, guys. Fetzner, nice dish off. Easy 2 for Nick Howard. And the Redmond defense that starting to open up a little couple of holes, Colin.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't look like it's going to be too important tonight. Obviously, the margin of victory is still in play, 10 points. Going to need a pretty big turnaround here for the Lions, though.
Tagliano drives to the rim. He got hit on the right wrist. He'll shoot 2 at the charity stripe.
Lions foul number 21, Nick Howard.
Foul goes against number 21, Nick Howard, his first personal. 4th team foul. And the senior Owen Caggiano getting 2 at the line. Hits the bank on the first. He's got those nice bumblebee shoes, if you will, the black and white. Those really stand out.
I know, I like them. Tewksbury does have some pretty good shoe game. Tate and Lim, the nice turquoise ones as well.
Who's got the best, do you think? Seen a lot of white on the floor, maybe just because of the white jerseys, but
I like the classic. I like the all whites.
now if you were hooping growing up, because I know you're a hockey guy, we both played hockey together, what shoe would you rock on the floor?
Oh, I don't know. I used to be a pretty big shoe guy.
Okay.
I like the Kobe's. I rock a nice pair of all red Kobe's.
Can't go wrong with the Kobe's.
I know. What about you, Andrew?
I really like the Grinch Kobe's they just put out.
Okay.
Those look real. I know the neon green, everyone's going to say, what? That looks terrible on the floor, but hey, I like what I like.
You got to make a statement.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, they say look good, feel good, play good.
There you go. Just talking about Kim and those beautiful turquoise shoes. He's getting hounded right now on offense, and some great defense by Fetzner. 2-on-1 back the other way for the Lions. And 1. That's Louis Kabuka. We haven't called his name too much tonight. And this bench unit for the Redmen kind of stifling just a little bit. And not something too bad to threaten out with a 22-point lead with under 3 minutes to go, but something Coach Boudreau doesn't really want to see from the back end of his bench.
No, not at all. Johnny Sullivan calling Tate and Lim over there, trying to make some adjustments as well as with Coach Boudreau. That's really important, you know, mentoring the young guys. As Tate and Lim will probably play a much bigger role next year. Obviously, that mistake won't have much of an impact here, but learning from your mistakes, that does carry over.
6 seniors on this Redmond squad, so we're talking about the turnover from last year to this year to next year. It's always kind of the turn of a new page, if you will, with roster turnover.
That is kind of how high school sports work.
Oh, absolutely.
You're lucky if you don't have massive turnover every year.
And you don't have the luxury of the transfer portal like you see in college hoops nowadays, or I don't even want to get down that rabbit hole, but
it's probably a good thing, though.
yeah. Timeout on the floor for Coach Boudreau. We'll take you with them. 2:25 frozen on the fourth quarter clock. Tewksbury well in control at 62-43, but Chelmsford find their way back in just a little bit. We'll take a short break and be right back after this. 2:25 to go in the fourth quarter. Tewksbury 62, Chelmsford 43. Colin Mangan, Andrew Delapiano with you. Putting the final bow on this game, Colin. See what I did there, because it's almost Christmas
See what
time.
you did there.
All right.
Yeah.
Tewksbury out of the timeout taken by head coach Steve Boudreau. Chelmsford fighting their way back in this game just a little bit. Still got a majority bench unit out there for the Redmen, including Owen Caggiano, who tries a 3 from the corner. Hits the front rim. Redmen try to stay with it. Can't do so. Chelmsford ball.
Really hoping one of these shots will fall for the seniors. Owen Caggiano, Zach Salvaggio, really hoping they can make one go in here.
Wait for Chelmsford, and that one's good. Owen Hilton cashes in. 16-point game with 2 minutes left.
Just want to point out, Chelmsford still is playing for something here. Margin of victory, 10 points. If they can score 8 more here. Sorry, 6 more.
You're still fighting for your spot in the power rankings, you know, better schedule you play, and you have to take all that into account nowadays with the new power ranking system in the MIA. Hilton tries another. Oh, heat check. The senior really bursting on the scene with this extra playing time he's getting. And Coach Boudreau, you cannot be happy with what you've seen in this fourth quarter. The Redmen almost had a 60-burger towards the end of the third. And It's a 13-point game. Redmond 62, Lions 49. Maybe still something you don't need to fret too much, but Cullen, you got to give the Lions credit for hanging around.
Yeah, they really have bounced back. They playing their game, the bench players playing the game that they know they work on in practice every day. It's good to see having a little more competitive game here. 13-point game, minute 26 left. Anything can happen. You can see Coach Boudreau just check the starters back into the game. Obviously, he feels the same way.
Yeah, and the winner of today's game, or tonight's I should say, taking on Burlington Friday night, while the loser goes to the consolation game to take on Bedford. We already have our girls division set as well. Wilmington and Tewksbury in the consolation. And then we'll follow that up with Bedford and Chelmsford in the championship. It'll be the girls' championship and then the boys' championship. And we'll start the day on Friday with the girls' consolation and then boys' consolation. We'll have all that action for you right here on Tewksbury TV as well. So don't forget to come back with us on Friday for some more Tony Romano tournament hoops. And the Redmen, they got the starters back in the game, Cullen.
Yeah, I got to agree with Coach Boudreau's decision there.
Oh, the Redmen just forgot which direction they're going in. Oh, my.
Oh, no.
Phil Lombardi, he inbounded it. He threw it out to Sullivan. They started pushing the pace back the other way. Oh, all you could do was laugh at yourself during that.
Hopefully that won't come back to bite the Redmen.
Yeah. I mean, if this was a one-possession game, Cullen, I don't even know what Coach would say to them after
I know.
Now with the hot hand for Owen Hilton, but he turns it over. Redmond just got to bleed some clock now on the right side of the offensive four. That being the left side.
Let's hope they don't make that mistake
viewers
again.
At home. Sullivan just dancing around Louis Kabuka.
Almost like he's trying to draw the foul there.
Yeah.
Now that Chelmsford's in the bonus, get to the free throw line.
Starters, they were kicking back, sitting back, relaxing on the bench, thinking, all right, guys, don't have to worry about the rest of this one. And then you come back in with a minute 30 to go. Not something you expected.
Yeah, definitely not. Good thing they were still engaged, locked in on the bench, though.
Sullivan continuing a great night. We've talked about him plenty, about his three-point shooting ability, his playmaking ability, also on defense as well.
He's a really great all-around player. A bunch of times, some guys sort of specialized, really good three-ball shooter, really good on defense. It's really amazing to see a guy who missed all of last year come back and still be as well-rounded as he is.
Well, Sullivan just picked up his fourth. And how about Owen Hilton? At the line right now, he's got a couple of triples in this fourth quarter. Really taking advantage of that extra playing time with their leading scorer, Dylan Torini, who's been out for most of these games with 3-4 fouls.
He's one of the guys who has kept Chelmsford in this game, making a little bit more respectable score.
Misses both at the line.
I'm sure Coach Chris Giordano will have some positive things to say about him after the game.
Just about a 9-second difference between shot clock and game clock with 35 ticks to go. Redmond 64, Lions 49. Redmond putting the finishing touches on this ball game before looking for back-to-back Romano tournament champions on Friday against Burlington. That one should be a really good game. Of course, you got Phil Collins coaching against his former school. 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Lombardi almost went up. He got a little tangled up with Owen Hilton.
That just about does it here, Andrew.
Redmond in the bonus. Lombardi will shoot a pair at the charity stripe. Is adding to that total or not? Lombardi misses the first. Takes care of the second, 65-49 with 11 seconds to go. One more push for Chelmsford on offense. They get a good shot off, missed the layup, the tip in no good, rebound from Labarty, and that will do it. Tewksbury dominates from start to finish to knock off Chelmsford 65-49 to advance to the Romano Championship. I mean, Colin, this game was over basically before it started in that first quarter.
Yeah, it really was. Great showing from Tewksbury. Both sides of the court, like we said. Excellent three-point shooting for them. Really great to see. Great overall basketball game for Tewksbury. Hopefully they can keep that going on Friday against Burlington.
They got a good one on Friday as Chelmsford loses this ball game. They drop to 1-3 on the season. Tewksbury getting back to 500 at 2-2. What did you like most about tonight's effort from the Redmen?
Obviously, the three-point shooting. It was great to see. Really exciting game. Johnny Sullivan had a great night. Overall, high energy on the bench, high energy on the court. It was great to see. Great overall showing for the Redmen.
No doubt in a 65-49 victory for the Redmen. But that does it for our coverage tonight from the Romano Gymnasium. Again, we'll have coverage for the Tewksbury games on Friday. The girls in that consolation game early in the day, and the boys will have the championship in the nightcap against Burlington. But for Colin Mangan, I'm Andrew Delapiana saying so long and good night, Tewksbury. We'll see you on Friday.